And we're back. Welcome to Adam's Apple. I'm Adam, and today we're looking at 3 possible webcam solutions. Today I have connected 3 different cameras. I have the Logitech Brio 4K, the Logitech Webcam C920, and a new iPhone 14 Pro using continuity camera. These are all great cameras, and during the pandemic, the 2 Logitech cameras were really hard to find, especially the Brio. The Brio was pretty new at that point. It was touted as this great 4K camera, very clear, sharp focus, which you can see, and it was really hard to find. The prices went way up on Amazon, hundreds of dollars more than it's worth. But now the situation is different. The pandemic has subsided, and you can get these cameras at a very affordable price. The Logitech Brio has a really nice, sharp picture quality, really sharp image. And you'll notice that the white balance is a little bit cooler, but really quite nice. And I am using a ring light today as well to help out my lighting. The C920, little bit different white balance, little bit different sharpness. It's an HD camera, not 4K, but very affordable option. And then the new iPhone 14 Pro is a new addition as the last week in my household. And this continuity camera feature is really pretty amazing. The way this works is when you launch an app that requires video, if you're going to Zoom call or you're getting ready to make a video, just macOS Ventura will pop up and ask you if you want to use your iPhone as your webcam. You can say yes, and it will automatically connect. I'm connected wirelessly for this. You can plug in, but the wireless connection has worked really well. There are some features and settings that you can get to if you go up to Control Center. Control Center is right up here in the upper right-hand part of your menu bar. And right here under Video Effects, you can click on that and you'll see the different webcams that are connected. And specifically your iPhone is right here. It shows what battery is at. But you have some great options here. Center Stage is used for FaceTime calls. And if I enable Center Stage, you'll kind of see it zoom in a little bit. It's using the different lenses of my iPhone. If I move, the iPhone will actually follow and kind of keep me in the video framed properly, which is really pretty cool. You'll notice it does zoom a little bit to do this, and then it uses kind of a pan and scan feature. So the sharpness might be a little bit reduced when you have Center Stage on. You lose some of the framing. I'm zoomed in a little bit more. But if you are moving around at all in your video, it's a really great feature. You don't have to think about staying centered. Portrait allows you to access some of the blurred background that you can get on the portrait mode in your camera on your iPhone. So if I click Portrait, you'll see the background blurs, and it gives kind of a nice focus to the subject and a blurred background. I wish there was a little bit more granularity in these settings. So you could adjust the amount of blur, so it's kind of just on or off, but pretty nice. You'll kind of notice around my hairline and my head, it's not perfect. There's a little bit of blurredness around me, but for doing this on the fly and being able to kind of track and follow along with Center Stage works quite well. Take Portrait off there. Studio Lighting is the other setting you have available to you. And if I click Studio Lighting, it just kind of darkens the background a little bit, has a nice, little bit nicer feel to the video. I usually leave that on. Just for comparison, I'm going to turn off my ring light for a minute. And you can kind of see just without any other light source. I do have a window next to me though with some good natural light. But you can kind of see how that affects the lighting. If I turn, again, Studio Lighting off for a minute, back on, Portrait, and so forth. You can kind of see that. If we go to our other cameras, let's look at our Logitech Brio, for example. You can kind of see the lighting that's there. And then let's look over on the C920 as well, so you can kind of see the different. You'll notice there's different white balance for sure between these two cameras, but you do have some settings you can get to that we'll show you a little bit later. If I put my ring light back on, I think these two cameras in particular are helped by having a little bit more light, a little bit more extra light source, especially the C920. The Logitech Brio does capture quite a bit of light, and so I can sometimes get kind of a blown out image if I'm not careful with the ring light settings. I wanted to show you this great app that Logitech provides to get a little bit more access to some settings. So if I'm on the C920 right now, you can see here it's doing auto exposure, but I can change that, and I can get in here and actually change the exposure on the C920, kind of put that up and down a little bit, change the gain. If I go back to auto, I can also just increase contrast or decrease, add some sharpness. And right now I have auto white balance off. If I turn auto on, you'll notice that the two Logitech cameras, when auto white balance is on, have quite a pretty cool white balance, not too warm. I like it to warm it up a little bit, kind of like what the iPhone does with that. So I'm just going to warm that up just a little bit. If I go to advanced settings, you can zoom a little bit with the C920, not a lot. You get a little bit of zoom, but tilt and pan don't do anything on the C920. Not quite enough image quality there, given that it's not 4K to work with. I'm going to move over within Camera Controller to the Brio. And the Brio, if we go back to basic, again, I have the same balance controls. Notice if I go auto white balance, it's a pretty cool white balance. I kind of like to warm that up a little bit. But you do get some more features on the Brio because it's 4K. And so you can zoom quite a bit more. Notice if I'm fully zoomed out, that's where it's at. I've had it zoomed for the whole video today, just a little bit, just to frame it a little bit better. Also great, you get some tilt. So I can kind of take my microphone out of the picture there. And you also get some pan. A little bit choppier on the pan, but and then you can save these as profiles. So I can pull up different saved settings based on if I'm in a Zoom call or making a video or something like that. You can also access other cameras in Camera Controller. Notice my iPhone is here, so I can go to there. Now I don't get to access any settings though. It's pretty much just kind of a preview, but sometimes that's nice to have a preview. Another new app that I just found, speaking of previews, is this really cool app, and I'm using it actually right now, and it's called Hand Mirror. And Hand Mirror is available on the Mac App Store, and it lives in your menu bar. And if you just want to preview your video before you make that call or before you hit record, you just hit the button in your menu bar for Hand Mirror, and it pops up this preview window, and I can resize it. Also, if you have a MacBook Pro with a notch, it has notch detection, so you can click your mouse right in your notch and it will bring up that preview, and it works with any of the cameras that are connected. So that's kind of our look at just 3 possible webcam solutions on the Mac. Again, the options are really great these days, and especially what's available for the iPhone lineup, and to use that as your webcam. This is going to be a big upgrade from what's built in on your laptop or desktop. So thanks for joining us, and we're Adam's Apple. Just a little behind the scenes footage today, just to show you my setup today. It's kind of a challenge to record 3 different cameras at once and a separate microphone and so forth. So I just wanted to share kind of how I'm doing that. I'm just going to minimize this. So I'm using an app called Detail. Detail is an app for connecting to, you can use this, you can plug in your iPhone and get your iPhone camera into your Mac without using continuity camera. And And you can use detail to record external cameras. It kind of comes in here like an iMovie timeline. You can then edit that video right within detail, even add captions and text and so forth. So I'm using detail to capture the Brio. I'm using just QuickTime to capture the C920. If you go just to open QuickTime, go File, New Movie Recording, and then you can choose which camera you want to use here and which microphone, and just record right to a file. And then for the iPhone, I'm using hand mirror again, just to show that on my screen, and then using ScreenFlow to record the desktop. So, that's kind of my workaround today, since the iPhone video is being used just as a webcam. I couldn't hit record on the iPhone itself to record directly to the device. So I'm just using ScreenFlow and hand mirror. So that's our setup.